Previously on our story, Mrs. Grace's plans were unveiled and she was in no position to control anything in immersion. And Betty had regained her rights as a child, as a daughter in the mansion. Now she has the right to do whatever she wants. So let us continue our story. But as before I dive into it, kindly subscribe, share and like this video. Let's dive into this amazing video. With Mrs. Grace's plans unveiling and the legal process moving forward, Betty found herself slowly adjusting to the calmer environment of the mansion. The staff had become more supportive, and once tense atmosphere had given away the tentative peace. Betty was still cautious but felt a renewed sense of hope for the future. One morning, Mr. David called Betty into his study with a warm smile. "Betty, I have some news. The court proceedings have concluded, and the estate is now officially under a new management. We're moving forward with the plans to renovate and restore the mansion to its former glory." Betty's eyes widened in surprise. "What does this mean for me?" Mr. David's smile widened. "It means that you have a new role here. We would like you to help with the renovation and oversee some of the estate's daily operations. Your sights and dedication have proven valuable." Betty was taken back. "I would be honored to help. Thank you for this opportunity." As the weeks passed, Betty began her new responsibility. She worked closely with the renovation team, ensuring that the mansion was restored to its former beauty. She also took a role in managing the estate's daily operations, coordinating with various staff members and overseeing the improvements. The mansion was bustling with activity, and Betty found herself enjoying the work. She felt a sense of pride as she watched the estate transform. The once a neglected area were being restored, and the mansion was slowly regaining its glory. One afternoon, while Betty was reviewing plans for the garden renovation, she received a visit from Mr. Brown. He looked pleased as he approached her. "Betty, I wanted to update you on the final legal matters. The court has ruled in your favor, and you are now a stakeholder in the estate. Your position here is secure." Betty's heart soared with joy. "Thank you, Mr. Brown. This means so much to me." Mr. Brown smiled. "You've earned it through your resilience and hard work. I'm confident that you'll continue to do great things." With her position secured and the estate on path to recover, Betty felt a profound sense of accomplishment. She had overcome the challenges and emerged stronger than ever. The mansion, once a place of fear and conflict, was becoming a place of hope and renewal. One evening, as the sun set over the estate, Betty walked through the newly renovated garden, reflecting on her journey. She saw the vibrant flowers blooming and freshly painted walls of the mansion. She felt a deep sense of satisfaction. As she rolled through the garden, she noticed Mr. David and few staff members gathered near the fountain. They were discussing the final touches on the renovation and the future of the estate. Betty joined them, feeling a sense of belonging and purpose. Mr. David turned to her with a warm smile. "Betty, we are planning a celebration to mark the accomplishment of the renovation and the new chapter of the estate. We'd be honored to have you as our guest of honor." Betty's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I'd love to be part of it. Thank you for including me." The celebration was a joyous occasion. The mansion was filled with laughter, music, and aroma of delicious food. Staff members, friends, and guests gathered to celebrate the successful restoration of the estate and the bright future ahead. As Betty looked around at the happy faces and beautiful surroundings, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had faced diversity, overcome obstacles, and her place in the mansion had once been a source of fear. Now, it was a symbol of hope and a new beginning. The celebration continued late into the evening, and Betty found herself surrounded with friends and supporters who had been with her throughout the journey. They congratulated her on her resilience and the position changes she had brought to the estate. As the night drew to a close, Betty took a moment to reflect on her journey. She had faced challenges, navigated difficult situations, and emerged victorious. The mansion was now a place of beauty and harmony, and Betty was at the heart of it all. With a renewed sense of purpose and hope, Betty looked forward to the future. She knew that there would be more challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them with the same strength and determination that had carried her through the difficult times. As she walked through the moonlit garden, Betty felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. She had found her place and was ready to embrace the new chapter of her life. The mansion was no longer just a place of work. It was a home, a symbol of her journey, and a statement to her strength and resilience. The week following the celebration brought a sense of routine and stability to Betty's life. The mansion continued to shine with its renewed beauty, and Betty's role in managing the estate was solidifying. She enjoyed her new responsibilities, finding fulfillment in overseeing the daily operation and contributing to the estate's ongoing success. One morning, as Betty was organizing documents in her office, she received an unexpected letter. It was from a local charity organization, expressing their gratitude for her recent donation and support. Betty was surprised. She hadn't made any direct donations recently, but she remembered Mr. David mentioning plans to contribute to local charities as part of the estate's new initiatives. Curious, Betty decided to visit the charity to learn more. She made her way to their office and was warmly welcomed by the director, Mrs. Johnson. "It's wonderful to finally meet you, Betty," Mrs. Johnson said with a smile. "Your support has made a significant impact on our projects." Betty was taken back. "I'm glad to hear that, but I'm not sure what I've done." Mrs. Johnson explained that Mr. David had initiated a series of charitable donations from the estate to support local causes. "Your kindness and involvement have inspired many. The recent donation was actually made in your name as a gesture of appreciation of your hard work and dedication." Betty was touched by the gesture. "I'm honored. Thank you for letting me know." Mrs. Johnson invited Betty to tour the charity facilities and see firsthand the difference the donations were making. As Betty walked through the center, she saw children playing in a newly renovated playground and families receiving support from various programs. The experience was deeply moving. Returning to the mansion, Betty felt a renewed sense of purpose. She realized that her contribution, even indirectly, were making a positive difference in the community. It was a reminder of why she had chosen to dedicate herself to her work and the estate. Days later, Betty was invited to attend the community event organized by the charity. It was an opportunity to meet the families who had benefited from the donations and to share their joy. The event was filled with laughter, music, and story of hope. During the event, Betty met a young woman named Lily, who had recently graduated from a local school with a scholarship funded by the charity. Lily shared her story of overcoming challenges and her dreams for the future. Betty was inspired by Lily's determination and resilience. As the event came to close, Betty received a heartfelt thank you from Mrs. Johnson. "Your support has been invaluable, Betty. The community is truly grateful for everything you've done." Betty smiled, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. "Thank you for the opportunity to be involved. It's been a rewarding experience." Returning to the mansion, Betty felt a renewed commitment to her role. She continued to work diligently, ensuring that estate's projects and charitable efforts were successful. The mansion was no longer just a place of work. It had become a center for positive changes and community support. One afternoon, as Betty was reviewing the plans for the estate's upcoming events, she received a phone call from Mr. David. "Betty, I wanted to let you know that we are planning a special project for the estate." Mr. David said, "We are organizing a committee fair to celebrate the achievements of the past few months and to bring together the people who have supported us." Betty's eyes lit up with excitement. "That sounds wonderful. How can I help?" "We would like you to take the leading role in organizing the event," Mr. David replied. "Your experience and dedication will be valuable in making it successful." Betty eagerly accepted the challenge. She threw herself into planning the community fair, coordinating with the vendors, organizing activities, and ensuring that everything was in place for the memorable event. The day of the fair arrived, and the mansion was transformed into a vibrant celebration of the community spirit. There were stalls filled with craft and food, games for the children, and performances by local artists. The estate's garden and grounds were filled with families, friends, neighbors, and all enjoyed the festivals. Betty moved through the fair with a sense of pride and joy. She saw the smile on people's faces and felt a deep connection to the community. The event was a statement to the positive impact of the estate's new direction and the role she had played in shaping it. As the sun set and the fair came to close, Betty stood on the mansion's steps watching the last of the guests leaving. She felt a sense of fulfillment and accomplishment. The mansion had become a symbol of hope and renewal, and she had been an integral part of that transformation. The future was bright, and Betty was ready to embrace it with optimism and determination. She had faced challenges, overcome obstacles, and found her place in a world that had once seemed uncertain. Now, she was not only managing the estate but also making meaningful difference in the lives of those around her. With a heart full of gratitude and a spirit of resilience, Betty looked forward to the new chapters that awaited her. The mansion was no longer just a building. It was a home, a community center, and a statement to her strength. As she looked out over the gardens, she knew that she was ready to face whatever the future had in store. The successful community fair marked the turning point of Betty and the mansion. However, the newfound stability brought its own set of challenges. As the estate continued to thrive, Betty found herself grappling with the demands of her expanded role and the responsibility of managing a large property. One morning, Betty noticed a discrepancy in the estate's financial records. There were unexplained expenditures and irregularities that she couldn't account for. Concerned, she decided to investigate further. knowing that the estate's finance needed to be transparent and well managed. Betty spent hours poring over the documents, tracing the original of the discrepancies. She discovered that several invoices had been submitted for work that had not been performed, and there were payments made to unfamiliar vendors. It became evident that someone was taking advantage of the estate's resources. She was determined to get to the bottom of the issue. Betty brought her findings to Mr. David. I found some irregularities in the financial records. It looks like there have been unauthorized payment and invoices for work that wasn't done. Mr. David's expression grew serious. This is concerning, Betty. We need to address this immediately, and we can't afford any mismanagement or dishonesty. They decided to conduct a thorough audit of the estate's finances and brought in an external auditor to help with the investigation. The audit revealed that several staff members have been involved in this activity. Betty felt a mixture of frustration and sadness. It was disheartening to realize that some people she had trusted were betraying the estate. But she knew that it was essential to address this issue to protect the integrity of the mansion and its mission. With Mr. David's support, Betty took a serious action. The staff members involved in the fraud were dismissed. Illegal steps were taken to cover up the misappropriated funds. The estate's funds procedure were reversed to include more strains, checks, and balance. In the midst of these challenges, Betty found solace in the positive changes she was hoping to bring about. Despite the setbacks, the estate's charitable efforts continued to thrive. The community support was unveiling, and Betty took pride in the difference she was making. One afternoon, as Betty was reviewing new project proposals, she received a visit from Lily, a young woman she had met at the charity event. Lily had come to thank Betty personally for the impact of the scholarship she has received. "I just want to let you know how much your support means to me," Lily said, her eyes shining with gratitude. "The scholarship helped me achieve dreams, and I'm now studying to become a teacher. I hope to give back to my community just as you have." Betty was deeply touched. "I'm so proud of you, Lily. Your success is a statement to the positive changes we're striving for. Keep following your dreams, and I know you'll make a difference." As Lily left, Betty felt a renewed sense of purpose. The challenges she faced were difficult, but they were part of the large journey towards creating something meaningful. One evening, as Betty walked through the gardens, she reflected on her journey. She had faced diversity, uncovered hidden betrayals, and worked tirelessly to restore the estate's reputation. Yet, she had also seen the positive impact of her effort on the community and the lives of those she helped. Betty's dedication and resilience had not gone unnoticed. The estate was flourishing, and her role as its manager was becoming increasingly rewarding. She built a strong foundation for the future and had earned the respect. As she looked out over the gardens, Betty felt a sense of accomplishment and contentment. The mansion was not just a reflection for her success, but also a symbol of hope and renewal. It had become a place where dreams were realized and lives were transformed. With a heart full of hope and determination, Betty was ready to face whatever challenge laid ahead. The story of Betty's journey was a statement of the power of perseverance and the impact of compassion, and the importance of giving back. It was a reminder that no matter where one starts with hard work and dedication, it is possible to create positive change and make a meaningful difference in the world. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for reaching this far. This is our final part. This is final part and you've seen it, how amazing it is, and there are many lessons that you can learn out of this story. Just leave them in the comment section. From our part 1 to our final part, leave something in the comment section. Bye bye. See you in my next story coming soon.